So let's continue. Drop a merge here, and I'm going to bring the, I'm going to drop a kind of node thing here because I need this geometry as well. Let's go into the simulation, but I don't want to pass the velocity onto itself, if that makes sense. So that's ready to go into there, and that's fine. Get rid of this add, move these over. Okay, make some space for the constraints. So what I do is I'm just going to flip these around just to be nice and neat. Okay, and then over here I'm going to drop, for the constraints, I'm going to drop a split because I want to do something different depending on what the constraints are. So I'm going to split out the windscreen, okay, and drop a wrangle. Oops. And there will be a primitive wrangle. Okay, and then so for the concentric and radial, so if you remember, they are the actual pieces that, you know, look like glass. They're kind of shards, the big long pieces that go across. I'm going to drop the strength down really far on them. So F at strength. Okay, times equals, so I'm going to multiply it by 0.05, so they're super weak now. Just going to, you know, encourage them to break easier than the other pieces, so just to try and highlight those shapes a little bit. So I'll put weak glass shapes, maybe something like that. Okay, and then on the other side I'm just going to out and out completely delete those constraints. So the radial and concentric, okay, so that's going to completely get rid of them, so that when they fly out the window we can see these shapes, but they'll also break up a little bit as well. So, you know, we won't have these purely these shapes, we'll have these shapes, and these shapes will in turn break up into the smaller kind of cube shapes, right? So we'll merge these back together, and I'll delete radial cons, say like that. Okay, so I think that's all good to go with our set. Oh, we just need the collider, the actual pole, so I think some of the glass might hit that. So that should be in our, let's see, body wheel sim, I think, out call, there we go. So the actual pole guy there, connect that up to the collision geometry. Oh, let me turn that off. I just remembered we haven't set up the bullet solver properly, so we want to start again on frame 77. Okay, just like before. I'm going to add 3 substeps. You know, that's not, you can play around with that, it's just what I found that worked for me. And then okay, let's do the easy stuff first. Again, 100 constraint iterations, which will help out stiffen the soft constraints. It's something I need to do. Just add a ground, don't need to, you know, leave it where it is fine. Forces, I'm going to add some drag since we got pieces flying through the air at this time. We didn't before, but that should help, you know, slow them down a little bit. And then in the constraints here, so just like before, we're going to write a little bit of X, very simple X to work on these. Okay, so one thing I do want to do, so in the glass radial, concentric and radial, I want them to be able to break at a certain distance, so 0.002. Okay, so that's the soft constraint, so that will affect the windscreen. Okay, remember, because the other window doesn't have soft constraints, so if the windscreen constraints get stretched beyond a certain point, they will also break. Okay, so these constraints on the windscreen, right? Also, let's see, so I'm going to add another one of these. It's going a bit slow. I'm going to turn off the simulation there and set it to manual. So for any constraint, I'm going to turn this off, use of X expression, and just like before, I'm going to generate, you know, not hard constraints, but glue constraints that won't break after a certain frame. So if at frame is more than 90, then I want you to, just like before, bring that back here, tab to go forward. So s at constraints underscore name is glue, and glue has to be written whenever you know you're writing it out. Glue or soft or cone twist, they have to match this glue or soft here, and that's the same if you build your own dot network as well. And cone twist, you can see, is there. Okay, hard will be just hard. Okay, they've got to be the same as that or they won't work. Okay, so glue, and then f at strength is -1. Okay, which will hold it firm and they won't be able to break again after that. Move that up. Okay, tidy it up. Constraint name, make sure that's all spelt correctly. It has to be spelled correctly, or else it won't work. Okay, and then also one more I'm going to add. So anything but the connectors. Okay, anything but these, so the concentric and windscreen and everything, I want them to be able to break as well at this distance. Okay, so let's see, I think that's everything. So these ones will break at this distance, right, at 0.02, and then everything else, so the windscreen also will have other glass soft constraints, and they will be allowed to break at this distance, right? So we have something different there. It's a bit harder to break the small chunks as opposed to the actual big glass. So I want to kind of try and highlight these shapes, these big, long, straight shapes. So I think that's pretty much ready to go. I'm going to cache this out straight away without doing a flipper, because it's going to take a bit of time. So right at the bottom here, let's go to just frame 77 to see that we've got something. Let's just visualize this. Where are we? Oh, we need to set this back to auto update. And there we go. We can see the glass. Turn off the velocity thing there. Okay, and then I'm just going to delete. So isolate the glass again. So at name. Glass, delete non-selected. There we go. Primitive or points, doesn't matter. Oh no, it does have to be on primitives because we're getting this. Okay, and then let's file cache this. So file cache. Okay, and I'm going to go from frame 77, delete channels, frame 77, and I'm going to do 150 frames. And let's save this into my geo. What did I call the other one? Geo week 2, week 4, sorry. Week for geo, and then we'll call this glass sim dot $f 3 dot geo, just like that. I like to turn this off because especially when we're starting at frame 77, it's just annoying to have that error message. Load from disk, and then let's save that out. Just got a couple of quick adjustments to make on the strength here. So just before we cache this out, I'm going to double this up to 0.1, and the windscreen glass, the stiffness on that, I'm going to push it up double to 100. Okay, so once we've got that ready to go, it's just bring running through that. There we go, and then we can cache that out again, save that to disk.